Aliens.
Aliens.
James Cameron's masterpiece.
Yeah, buddy. Fan favorite. This is The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. This is the Rambo movie that James Cameron would have made rather than the one that ended up getting made. Because he'd written the script for Rambo, the second Rambo movie, hadn't he? He was not happy with that. So I think this was his war movie. And,
for sure.
It's a brilliant war movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And everybody's got their part and they play it perfect. This was one of those movies where I think when we get to the third one, I'll touch on this again. But I mean, you've got a situation where you've got multiple characters on screen, and that's hard to do. These guys all look different. They all have different personalities, and they each get a little moment in the sun, which is something that they didn't do in Alien 3, because they're all like, British white bald guys. You don't know really who got killed. Who was that? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Inmate number 12.
Yeah.
But it means a little more when these guys get it, because just like the dinner scene in the first one, you got those funny little character moments for each of them. Like the captain getting up, he's talking about how great the core is, and Hudson just like, oh, the floor is freezing, and them all insulting each other and having cornbread together. I
guess it's the same kind of thing, but it's very much the same thing as they did with the first movie, introducing these characters. You get to know who they are. They're all very broadly drawn, but the actors are perfect for the roles.
Not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. And it also kind of harkens back to war movies as well, where you get introduced to the platoon before, the shit hits the fan. And
right.
That's pretty much what they do here. The only person that knows what they're going into, or seemingly the only person that knows what they're going into, is Ripley.
And even she doesn't have an idea.
Yeah, even she's not. She's about to get surprised by just how bad it's going to be.
She's the perfect cipher for the audience, because they went through it with her.
Yes, and this is one of those movies that does that right. That's a good point, because the whole idea of introducing a character that you don't need, which is what they do all the time, and this is a character. This character is going to be the audience is in. No, we don't need that. But in this case, we've got essentially the surviving character from the first movie.
Everybody's yelling at the screen, listen to her.
I know, so it's a different thing, because we know we're on the same wavelength as her. So yeah, it's a really good idea to use her that way. It's also got like a cast that's just as Not My Monkey says here, Bishop.
Was inspired
casting.
I love Lance Hendrickson in this movie.
I think everybody was inspired in this movie.
So rare to see him as a good guy, and what a good guy he was in this. Kept on waiting for him to kill somebody, but.
Say hello there to Kev. Hey Kev, thanks for joining us. And yeah, the craftsmanship of Aliens makes it look better than anything made today. I agree.
Going back to that Stan Winston. Almost everything he does still looks amazing. Like stuff, even going into weirder stuff like Pumpkinhead. Which, very similar to this design, mind you, but I mean, it still looked amazing. What else? He did the Leviathan. Still looked good for even. I'm sure that was a much less budget than this, or smaller budget than this. Yeah,
that would have been. Well, that was the big budget version of the underwater movies that were made at the time. But even at that, I don't think it was that big a budget.
No, it wasn't. It didn't get the Abyss money.
No, definitely didn't. Say, Ash and Jackals joined us. Hello there.
Hello.
What's he saying? Fun fact. In the theatrical re-release for Alien 40th anniversary, censored the scene where Ripley slips into the spacesuit. Yes, thanks for that one. He's got his priorities straight up, isn't it?
That's something you do like a double take out when you're looking at the...
Yeah, well, we're not going to be checking that out in high def, no doubt.
Research purposes for you.
Research purposes, indeed.
So what now? I think most everybody in the audience or the chat's seen this. Do you prefer? I think so. Do you prefer the original to the theatrical on this one too, or do you think that the theatrical to the special edition, or do you think the special edition adds a little something this time around? Because they could put 35 minutes back in.
Yeah, I'm fine with either, but I prefer the theatrical.
Well, because it's faster.
The pacing is much better in the theatrical, and I don't think we need what's added.
Seeing the
director's cut.
Hadley's Hope actually alive and the family getting it, and
we don't need that, because Newt works so well as a character in the movie. The you don't need to see that at the beginning. In fact, I think it's better not seeing that, because you know what the alien's capable of from the first movie, and if you haven't seen the first movie, you're soon going to find out what they're capable of. So I don't think it's needed. I think I think in this case again, I would go with the theatrical.
Okay.
But both are good.
Yeah, I tend to watch the other one just because it makes the experience last a little longer.
Yeah,
I do like this movie.
Yeah, I do kind of agree with Kev here, though. I like the robot machine gun.
Yep, that's a great scene. I like that scene a lot.
The thing about this movie that interests me is the first film I think I see as a horror movie. This one, I mean, they're both science fiction, just in trappings, in the same way as Star Wars is just science fiction and trappings. But this, although it's got some scary scenes in it, some good stuff, this is really an action movie. This is where it just jumps 2 feet into action.
It's about as scary as Terminator was.
Yeah, so you're kind of having a good time laughing along while you're jumping in your seat and enjoying it that way.
Roller coaster ride.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. I think that it sets off. Well, I think it's the reason why the sequels have kind of never really stood up to this, because to recreate that roller coaster ride is a very difficult thing to do.
Well, I think also part of it was just because everyone was expecting another. Well, they were expecting what Alien 3 did, going back to formula, and this one went like, okay, I see what didn't happen in the first one. Let's give the audience something a little bit bigger, something a little different. And I think if they would have maybe done that with the third one, gone a little bit different, something you hadn't really seen before, so that the audience is still guessing like they were in this one. Third one, aside from the studio interference, mind you, which there was a lot, the third one might have done a little bit better, but as it stood, it just kind of went back to a yellowized version of the first one. Yeah,
I think so. It's just like Peeps points out, though, it's great that they went for different directors and different visions. If they'd stuck to their guns with each of them, I think they would have got a better,
been almost like an anthology, like the
better result. Yeah, it just didn't quite work, as he says.
Yep.
Pete has recently got a 4K version for Kenner, and he's going to confirm Ashen's fun fact.
I've got the special edition copies on DVD, and then I got the Blu-ray, like 4 movie set too, with all the special features from the DVD too. Those are the only ones I have, and I'm happy with them. Yeah,
I got the 9-disc Region 1 DVD when it came out. That had all the documentaries on it.
Right.
And I got the Blu-ray recently just to upgrade. But,
there's some great documentaries.
Oh yeah, some terrific stuff in that. Now, Aliens. The one thing about Aliens I think everybody loved, and this is going to lead us into when we start talking about Alien 3, was the fact that the casts were so well defined and so well acted that when you had survivors, everybody was glad to see them survive.
Yeah.
Like, so the young child, Newt and Hicks, the Michael Biehn character.
Yeah, the best of them.
Yep. So the best of them survived along with Ripley, and it was good. It was cathartic. You going through this roller coaster ride with them, and at the end, you knew there was like some light at the end of the tunnel.
It doesn't hurt that the movie was like made of quotable lines too.
Oh yeah,
so many good lines in this movie.
Totally. Do you want to give us a few?
I mean, I'm not sure if the actors were excited about, like, every time Bill Paxton walked down the street and someone screamed, "Game over!"
Yes,
man,
exactly.
Game over!
That's exactly it. Yeah, which was in I don't know how many video games that's been used in.
Oh, I know. But I mean, like, yeah, all these guys had so many lines that they use, and I'm sure they all get stuff yelled at them.
Yeah, I mean, everything, just simple things like lock and load and that. Everybody like started using them, and
I like to keep this around for personal or close encounters.
There's tons of stuff in here. Now, is it as good as Alien?
I think so.
Yeah, it is. If you were to compare them,
it's almost judging on a different scale.
Yeah, I always think this is unfair because I think they're so different in tone. But they're both brilliant at what they do. You can have a favourite over them, but I think they're equally brilliant.
They specialize in different things. The other one was better with tension. It was, like this one's like, you're cheering, you're jumping, you're like excited. When like they look up at the ceiling and the aliens are coming through and they just start opening fire and killing, or the killing the 2 face huggers scene.
Yep.
It's a whole lot. It's a whole different ball of wax. This one's made for excitement. It's an action movie.
Totally.
The other one was made for dread.
Yep. We're getting quotes in the chat.
See? That's what I say. People love those lines, man. I love them too. This was made for people to get a kick out of and see over and over again.
Yep. And yeah, it's as good as, but more action based, as Monkey says.
Yeah.
I think it's one of these cases where you've got a sequel comes along and you're like, this is in no way a letdown. You know,
this is a flip side of the same coin.
Exactly, and it's brilliant because of that. Yeah. So that's Aliens, and also at that time when Aliens came out, Dark Horse. Got the rights and they started doing the comics and continuing the storylines, and they did a really good job for a few years. Doing that as
Then
well.
it got hit and miss.
Then it got hit and miss. But the first few years, they kind of get derailed by the movies as well. That didn't help.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be talking about that because we're going to be doing a special on those at some point.
Sure will.
Okay, talk about that later. But yeah, that's Aliens. It's brilliant. Give it a watch.